Okay. Again, a very good afternoon to you all, and thank you for joining this March edition of the EURAXESS monthly BHO meetings. We have an interesting program again today. On the agenda, we have a few things to go through. So first of all, we will be giving you some updates from the European Commission side. And we also today have Michele Rosaclot joining us, who will be presenting the new collaboration with the contractor PPMI, whom they are working together with the administrative procedure for the HR Excellence in Research Award. The biggest chunk of today's agenda goes to the next EURAXESS project, and we will have Elisa leading some discussions and presenting information regarding the new hop-on call to participate in the upcoming project. So to just start from the European Commission side, I just wanted to mention before I hand over to Slaven that we would like you to save the date for the next EURAXESS BHO meeting, which will take place in person in Brussels on the 18th of June. So it's the same date as last year. And we would encourage you to indeed block your calendars for this, but do not go ahead and book any sort of travel or accommodation at this point. As soon as possible, we will be giving you information on how to proceed also in this regard. So please stay tuned for that information. Until then, please block your calendars. So again, it will be the 18th of June and it's a full day event. And after this, I will hand over to Slaven to give some further update regarding the IT contract and the other matters as well. So please, Slaven, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Vera, and good afternoon, everyone. I can just stress, block the dates, don't block hotels, don't arrange your accommodation, because we want to avoid some of the challenges we had last year. So a couple of updates. So perhaps let's start with a bit of a policy update. I think over the past month and in the next months, you will hear less about EURAXESS than what you have been hearing in the past. And because we are now in a phase where we will not be consulting anymore, or not so much with the outside world, this is the moment where we will be looking into everything that we have received over the past year, I would say, and we are very much kind of locking ourselves up to figure out how this is going to work. And I would say between now and the adoption of the EURAXESS from the Commission side, most probably there will not be much to share, unless if there are any changes in the plan. But for the time being, everything is how it is has been communicated to you before. A big test for us is the regulatory scrutiny board, a very difficult test, probably the most difficult test that we have to pass, because it is more than half of the proposals do not pass this. It goes back to us, and then we go for a resit, etc., etc. And for the time being, we are very much looking at different ideas, its feasibility, the legal base, of course, is being questioned, etc., etc. So this is on the EURAXESS, where I think we are entering into a silent period when it comes to communication to the outside world, but this is then very much a very busy period for us. About the IT contract, so we are still in a gap between, we're still in between the IT contracts, I would say. We are very much trying to accelerate this procedure as fast as possible. We are quite close to it, but being quite close to it still requires a couple of signatures left and right. So it could still take a week. Maybe we hope that that they'll be able to start next week, but again, it will depend on some final paperwork. But in each case, we have selected the individuals that will be part of this team, and next time at the next update meeting, so mid-April, I think we'll be very happy to present them to you and to see and also tell you what are the novelties. In the meantime, we are having Vera is the one-stop shop. She is doing the IT help desk, everything that entire team does. So this will continue for definitely this week, but hopefully not much longer, than that. And then after that, I'm sure Vera will be also very much busy with a million other things, because having these people in place is good, but of course we have to steer them and guide them. So it's something we are very much looking forward. There are a couple of other points. So there are some projects ongoing. Swiss knife Vera, definitely. So there are some projects currently ongoing, and namely two. On one hand, we have the talent ecosystems. Some of you are involved in this. There are 10 projects happening. This will be followed up by a new call of probably around 20 projects. Now we are looking at if we are going to change something about this, maybe less projects, but bigger budgets. But if you're looking at these projects, it's pretty obvious that the role of EURAXESS can be further strengthened there. So for that purpose, either in the next monthly meeting or the meeting thereafter, depending also of what are the needs of this monthly meeting, we are also going to invite a colleague who is responsible for talent ecosystems. And by then, definitely for those of you who are involved, but perhaps some of you who are somewhat involved, I would very much also ask you to think about how we can have better synergies from this. We are having the new Next EURAXESS project with a budget, a limited budget. On the talent ecosystems front, there are other financial resources. What they are trying to do is something very much connected to EURAXESS. It is not always in anybody's favor if we are duplicating things forever. So this will be, I think, a common collaboration. I just want to say these are bottom-up projects mostly. So that's why they don't follow a strict commission-based structure or what they are doing. And this, of course, means that also when we want to coordinate, we want to align, we also have to both work bottom up and top down. And another project, which I think is quite interesting, and we will not put everything all together, but other project is actually a study that we are, a procurement that has started in January, which is basically looking at how to improve the retention of talent within organization. And it is looking at a bit what are the responsibilities of, for example, the HR managers in the whole talent retention discussion, but also what are the concrete policies and measures that can support talent retention. And finally, if talent cannot stay if a research cannot stay after the project has ended, then we're also looking at some offboarding strategies. And I think this can be also quite interesting for the network. The study will be 18 months. It just started, so I will also ask a colleague to present this either next month or months thereafter. And final point before I give the floor back to Vera for the next steps relates a bit to EURAXESS Worldwide. So last week, or 2 weeks ago, EURAXESS Worldwide colleagues have all come to Brussels. Vera and I had a pleasure to meet them. And they have a bit flagged their concerns that they feel somewhat distanced from EURAXESS Europe, and I think this concern is legit to a large extent. Definitely since the management of EURAXESS Worldwide is not longer with us, but colleagues responsible for international cooperation. So here I just want to highlight again, and I think this has been on so many different times, to think of how EURAXESS Worldwide can be of your use. They are a very good channel to communicate what you are doing. Any talent retention, talent attraction, scientific diaspora related initiatives. They could be very interesting for them. So you can really use them as a way to promote your network, as a way to promote opportunities in your countries that are open to the talent from around the world. And you don't have to use entire EURAXESS worldwide. You can think for some type of, for example, jobs. You might think of, you can only promote it in some parts of the world. And again, this is free. They already have these big communities, and it also helps them a lot because then they can come with an additional value for these communities they're animating. But I just want to highlight, do not forget what EURAXESS worldwide can do for you. Having said that, I pass the floor back to Vera.
Thank you very much, Slaven. So indeed, as I already mentioned at the start of the meeting, we have the pleasure of having Michele Rosaklot with us again today. And we have had some requests on the side of BHOs to have some more information about really the practicalities of Michele now working with the PPMI contractor. So Michele, if you are with us, I do believe I saw your name. So I will hand over to you to present and give us some updates on this matter. Please go ahead.
Hi, yeah, thank you, Vera. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And see me? Yeah. Okay. I have a couple of slides for you. The process actually started a long time ago. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can you see my slides? Hi.
We cannot see your slides, Michele.
Okay. So let me stop and share again. Now, can you?
Yes, now we see it. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Right. You all know that we moved from the Commission recommendation to the Council recommendation, 20 principles. We moved from the European Charter for Researchers to European Charter for Research and Code of Conduct to the European Charter for Researchers, addressing the same stakeholders. Or new publication is available on the portal, and since the day before yesterday, also all languages are also available. Not in a such good place because I thought it's more important to have them available than to polish the page, and it will be polished once we have the IT team again on board. So what changes for the process? It's a very short presentation, this one. Nothing changed for the process, for the users. It still is like the HRS4R was, the HRX sensing research process is exactly the same, still voluntary because it's stemming from a recommendation, although from a council one. So voluntary, it is structured, periodically audited, sequence of gap analysis and action plans with periodically monitoring mechanism. So for the users, same phases, same cycles, same assessment structure, nothing changed. What changes instead is the way it is managed. So to make you understand why we have that, just a few numbers. We have average 50 new institutions per year receiving the award. Average, I'd say. In the last 4 years, many more than that, but I'll get to that in a second. And we have right now 750 institutions from 38 countries, 95 are new coming, 141 are applicants, meaning they opened the case but not yet and started the process, 135 at implementation, and 503 at renewal. We are talking about a lot of cases. Remember, it is an cyclical and incremental. Every year, the number of institutions in the process, they augment. In 2024 and 2025, these are the numbers. So we have roughly 200 institutions assessed, 46 and 43 new awards here. Around 50 site visits organized, 16 in 2024, and many cases. Now I can see there is a bar covering my last, but it doesn't matter. 2024 and 2025, we had in 2 years, not each year, but in the biennium, 100 closed case and 10 suspensions. Now, you may not be very aware of the fact that we close cases on a regular basis or we suspend cases. This 100 is an exceptional number. Average is 4-5 cases abandoning the process per biennium, 2-3 per year. But we have a huge backlog of manual cases that fail to re-enter the e-tool in 2018 and 2019. This has been hanging there without progressing in the EURAXESS in research. Therefore, they need, as per the guidelines say, after 3 years, they need to be closed. So to have 40 new awards in the pipeline means that these 100 closed cases, they are not impacting their overall numbers, because in reality these 43 new awards are actually a much higher number. So the system, the process is actually already increasing the number of yearly awards. Now, a lot of yearly awards, cyclical and incremental. What it means that the commission, this is for your information, how we close a case, because they do not respect the progression of the HRS or R, which is the internal strategy, or the HR extensive research process, or most commonly, there is a merger. So 4, 5, even 6 institution, they are merging into one. So 6 individual awards are lost, but in reality, we still have those institutions in the loop. So the number changes all the time, but overall, there is a strong increase of this number. And the Commission has a lot of issues, a lot of problems in staying on the top of the management of these administrative structures. This is why back in 2024, the Commission issued a call for tenders to externalize the administrative process. Now, it is important to understand that the Commission remains the overall controlling authority and responsible authority for granting the HR awards, is the ultimate authority validating the assessment. So this is not externalized. What is externalized is the entire process of managing in the tool, validating the letters, giving the green lighting, the availability, the eligibility, or the administrative eligibility of a submission, assigning to assessors, paying the assessor for their work, reimbursing the assessors when they go for a site visit. So all that, this huge amount of work, has been externalized to free the Commission of this burden and give us Commission the possibility of tackling more important stuff. So as of this February, the winning on the tender is PMI, is part of the Varian Group, is a very important company which already worked with the Commission, is entirely trained and has been granted all the IT parameters to work fully, to take over fully the administrative work in the e-tool, complying, of course, with the standards and guidelines which are designed by the Commission. My last slide. What's going on to happen now? We have been working with PMI. PMI has been working on the tool for only 1 month. But what is the strategy behind that? The full priority for 2026 is entirely given to the reabsorption of the backlog. We have, at this moment, a huge backlog that must be reabsorbed. Must be reabsorbed, and on the top of that, we have the regular assignments to be done, assessment to be done in the course of the year. So by the end of the 2026, we expect to have 350 cases assessed. It doesn't mean that all are assessed and immediately positive. They may be assessed and have and return a request for modifications. But in any case, we have 60 initial, 40 interim, and over 250 renewals that should be done by the end of the year. Also, we expect this year and implemented from next year onwards a communication strategy, which will be quite important for the HR Excellence in Research Award in order to disseminate, augment the critical mass, facilitate the interaction between institutions, so forth, so on. And that's as I mentioned before, we want the Commission to be able to work more and more strongly on synergies, on intersectorality, on multidisciplinarity, on the general strategy. What it means in practice that we are going to communicate more on a more regular base with those services working on the gender equality plans, industrial strategy, and so forth, to name it. The last novelty that I invite the BHO to have to consider is the fact that now we have 3 distinct emails for contacting on the HR Excellence in Research. As usual, the support is for the IT technical issues, which should not be Vera, but for the time being has been Vera and will be the IT company as soon as they will be on board. RTD Charter, as usual, which will be involved only in non-technical and non-procedural issues like complaints, policy development, attending events, etc., and PPMI, which is the email to contact over all the issues concerning the procedure, and the email is hraward@euraxess.org. So in any case, if you make a mistakes in contacting this mail, we are all in contact. We will forward the email. With that, I think I am done. Yes, I am done. So thank you. And if you have any question, I'll be all yours.
Thank you very much, Michele. That was a very insightful and helpful overview of especially the externalization of the procedure as it stands currently. So indeed, we do have a few minutes for questions if anybody would like to ask Michele anything regarding what was just presented.
Monica has raised her hand in the chat.
Yes, hello. Hello, it's Monica from Poland. I just have one question. You mentioned on the slide, Michele, strengthening the HR strategy. What do you mean by that?
Strengthening the strategy means that several initiatives. The first one was already mentioned by Slaven. It's thank you. Actually, I forgot to mention, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. The talent ecosystem. For the first time since the inception of the HRS4R, the HR Excellence in Research process, is the first time that we have some real projects with some budget attached to the HR award, which is a first step, a very important one, because it's the first, but in strengthening the entire mechanism, that's just a first step. So we are looking in the direction of how to give more strength, more synergy cohesion to the HR award, which involves a lot of internal kitchen work, and that I cannot report on about now, but I can see Slaven laughing because he knows. So yes, that is the direction which we will on which we will travel when we are talking about strengthening further the HR award.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just perhaps, I mean, to highlight one thing, a lot of operations are being outsourced, but the control, the supervision, the responsibility, it is still entirely with the European Commission. So I would say that we do see this as a way to improve the quality and the speed of all the exchanges between people behind the award and organizations involved. Elisa is next.
Yeah,
Hello.
thanks. Hi, Michele. Hi, I'm Elisa
Hello, Elisa.
from FEFIT. It's a very technical question
Go
and
ahead.
actually involves EURAXESS also heavily, because one of the things that we are seeing with communications with the HRS, well, the HR Excellence
Whatever.
Award in the the administrators of the cases, within institutions, is that when they change, they need to communicate, and many of the things happen in the middle. And one of the key points that they need to understand is that they have to join the professional, the profile of the organization within EURAXESS. They end up contacting usually BHOs because they think that we have the powers to do that, where we only have the powers to control EURAXESS centers, not the profile of organizations. And it is something that maybe is basically creating a lot of issues, because then you cannot communicate, well, you or the PPMI cannot communicate with the HRs for, administrators and so on. But one of the things is that these joining processes through the URL, or actually the administrator of the profile, of the organizational profile, can actually invite you. It's getting very complicated sometimes. I have many conversations with the IT, previous company here, like, how, please tell me from this organizational profile, who is the administrator, so this administrator can invite this person, and this person can then change the HRs for administrators. That this is the part that it's on the HR, the PPMI. But between reaching PPMI, they had to do all of these steps, and unfortunately, it's not clear. And we sometimes had to get in the middle to support the institutions. The ones that they call us, not all, of course, not all of them will call us a BHO, because it's not, part of our. And at the end of the day, is the IT support from the EURAXESS who is doing this. So maybe not to give us a solution today, but maybe think, of a pipeline to how to better, solve this issue of administration of the organizational profiles and all of this, because it's really, causing us, at least from Spain, we obviously maybe because the amount of institutions with the HR Excellence Award, it's causing a lot of burden, and a lot of work.
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe it's a way to maybe create a very small working group to think about how to, I don't know, between you guys and the IT support, how to speed up this process, because otherwise you lose communication with the HRs for administrators.
Thank you for your take. There are actually two issues in your single question. One is the technical point, and the other one is the role of the BHOs on that. Let's start from the technical one, very fast, because you will have to move ahead very fast. Actually, the process is extremely simple. The point is that the first suggestion I give to anybody who is confused about that, take 5 minutes of your time and read the guidelines. Everything is explained and streamlined there. The system is simple because there are two admins only, one EURAXESS and one HRX and research admin, and they cannot be fused for technical reasons and for architectural reasons. They simply cannot be fused. They have to be for accountability reasons, for responsibility reasons, and communication reasons. They must be distinct. So there is a process. First, you create your profile of your institution in EURAXESS, and then is a completely different thing. You have the HR Excellence in Research Award, and that has to be created. And it's explained in the guidance very clearly. They have not to contact the BHOs, but they have to contact support at euraxess.org for doing that, and only that. The second thing is the role of the BHOs. We were talking, Vera and I, 2 days ago, about the importance is the paramount importance of having a single clear message that all BHOs must provide. BHOs should not substitute the help desks of the HR excellence in research. They cannot do that. They don't have the time, they don't have the expertise, and they don't have the information for doing that. What they have is to know what these three contact points that I just showed you are, and provide a single set of coherent information saying, when you are asked a question about the HR excellence in research, you say, we can't, just check the guidelines. And if you have a question, you contact the relevant contact points. That's it. But all the BHOs have to do that. Otherwise, we have one BHO in Sweden passing one message, one in Spain passing another, and that's quite complicated. In reality, the process is already quite streamlined and simplified. Now, this doesn't mean that it's perfect, and we are very happy if you, when you receive this question, saying, look, for us in Spain, the system looks extremely complicated for this reason A, B, C. Please consider that, tackle that, and try to move ahead, simplifying or streamlining or reducing the number of barriers, etc. That is extremely welcome all the time, because once you are on the side of the 90 tool, there are things that you don't see and the users spot them immediately. So feel free to contact me anytime with a mail on the details of what it's problematic.
Yeah, thanks, Michele, because I think we will do that because we kind of like pinpoint what is the bottleneck, and then it's maybe not, it's nothing new, it's known, and maybe there is no technical or easy technical solution. So, but maybe, yeah, it's worth it. It's just basically highlighting that there is a bottleneck there, and it's needed. It's, yeah, it will benefit all of us, definitely, for
Just
sure.
drop me an email. We will tackle that. We try to tackle that. We'll do our best.
Okay, I could also add to that I believe one of the bottlenecks in this case is what I've discovered having spent some time now in the support help desk and reading a lot of these requests coming from different organizations. And I definitely have seen that one of the big issues is that oftentimes if an organization hasn't been very active for a while, nobody knows anymore who the admin is, whom to contact, how to update. And then it becomes a massive back and forth because, of course, from an IT perspective, it would be possible to just assign somebody the admin role. However, is it very responsible to do that without doing some sort of due diligence? I don't really think so. So there has to be some sort of barriers or restrictions there as well, which ends up it then being a little bit a lengthy process until you reach the point of this is the admin of the organization. Now we can proceed with updating the organizational information and then eventually grant the access to the e-tool. So there's definitely some, as you said, Elisa, bottlenecks that could be potentially addressed differently, but it's something we have to keep looking at for sure.
This is not an info day dedicated to the HR excellence in research, so I will not speak at length, but also on the others, we are dealing with a very diverse universe, which is not used obviously to administrative processes, like we are contacted when an institution loses the HR award admin or the EURAXESS admin, as it happened recently. They didn't know who the EURAXESS admin was anymore. They never mention, in our case, the case number, or even more generally, they don't even mention the university they are writing from, which is, there is a lot of so we are dealing with the extremely undisciplined colleagues, or undisciplined, with colleagues who are not, let's say, they're not facilitating our task when we have to help them. They have to help us helping them. That's the point. But in any case, as I said before, it's not the job of the BHO when it comes to the HR excellence in research. Just we have to make sure we pass the consistent information, and I will put together a single set of guidelines for BHOs, very short. It's basically where are the guidelines and who to contact, and pass all those guidelines that are, by the way, published for everybody in and outside the HR extensive research. So even in one institution, they do not know how to access the case anymore. They do not know who is the admin. They do not know where they are. They just have to check the guidelines, which are accessible to external as well. That's probably the most important thing to be published on national BHO's websites when they go on that. Where to find the information.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much, Michela, again for staying and replying to these questions. They're very important discussions to have as well as we move forward. So I haven't seen any other hands at this point, I think, but if there are any other questions, you can speak out. But I don't think there's anything else. So Michele, thank you again for joining.
Thank you. I am waiting for your email, Elisa, whenever you want. And thank you so much. Have a good BHO meeting.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, so for the final part of the meeting, I'm going to hand over to Elisa. So there she will be explaining some elements of the hop-on call to participate in the next project. So we will look forward to getting some more details about this. So I hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me this time. I mean, the facilities team here, Savi, with me to actually take the opportunity to explain to all BHOs how can participate and what is coming in the next project. I will, of course, probably most of you will now confused because you already have open a call for expression of interest. We already have sent our expression of interest for activities. Of course, we have worked a lot. I mean, the whole core proposal meeting is working very hard now. We already have the structure of a future project and so on. So the idea today is not that to open again this process, not at all. Otherwise, we will not be able to meet our deadline. So this is not the case. What we are basically, we had call it, is a open call. So predefined activities that will be given to you as a menu. So for anyone, they can express their interest to participate. So basically, it's a open. So let me, if I can I will share a very, very short presentation to visualize what I'm just talking now. So let me work around this. Okay. I'm going to put it in presentation mode. So I hope you all see it now. So it's very simple. Okay. So the idea is now we have a structure of a project. I'm not going to talk about here today the work package projects and so on. I don't think it's the time here. But if anyone wants to have more information, please contact us. But basically, as the call asks us, we are creating a new operational model. Nothing new that you haven't heard already. Many of the details you have heard already during the BHO meetings that we have talk about this cluster model and so on. But of course, this needs to think a little bit more in details, as we commented in Brussels in December. More details that were not obviously proposed, but now this is the time to work in this project for it. Then, of course, this project needs to be nurtured. So there's going to be activities that help this model to function better, and especially to integrate in with the already ongoing way of working and functions of EURAXESS. So then we will implement the model, and this is somehow to capitalize, the funding mechanisms to do all the activities, but in a more connected way with this model. So basically, nothing new that we have cluster for talent circulation and integration. We have another cluster on careers in academia. We have a cluster on careers beyond academia, or that is taking nothing new that you haven't heard before in Brussels. And then, of course, this model needs to be leveraged. But it's the model, or it's the activities of the model, the outputs, to not only leverage just to explain to the rest of the world how we work, is to explain the rest of the world what we do and what is our impact. So in this structure, of course, there's going to be activities going on, and especially, and I would say especially nurturing the model and the clusters. The activities more or less always work in kind of in the same way. There's going to be communities of practice. These communities of practice are subtopics specifics. This has been decided based on the expression of interest that many of you already submitted. So just to name a few, and this is not a comprehensive list, okay, we thought you will receive this information, that is like community of practice, talent attraction, entry conditions, social security and taxes, resource security, integration support careers in academia and career transitions, activities, and so on. Of course, these communities activities will work definitely, but some of them, they need contributors, so people who actually help them to arrange maybe webinars, or some of them, they are not doing webinars, just basically creating, gathering intelligence or guidelines or so on. So there's going to be possibilities there to be a contributor. Please do not confuse contribute in a community of practice to attend to a community of practice, because this is not the same. It's in the project, the people who actually do kind of, contribute with the efforts, then they will be beneficiaries of the project. Nevertheless, many of these communities of practice will be open, but it will be something, it was just people attending or in their own expenses. We will not reference the support from the project. Then, of course, over time, many other activities that are gonna happen. They're gonna be usually piloting services toward researchers or toward research institutions. And so then, even this project will create the idea, will pilot it, but then maybe it's better to note with this idea of all benefiting. The whole era benefiting from these services, to piloting in different countries. So then there will be also some services that you can also go into these activities to be contributors of this task or subtask. Then other activities, and this is especially with the nurturing the model, it will be improving informational channels, from EURAXESS, like some sections of national portals, promotional material that needs to be created, some internal guidance, like we all know the newcomer guides, for example, or activities for EURAXESS, but to know how internal, internal meetings, how to use the network, where the things are, and things of that nature, So there is some also activities like that, clusterizing put it together as tasks or subtasks, that there will also option for people to contribute to that. It's basically telling you, come and work with us to make all of this happening, Then there's going to be also, and maybe this is very interesting for you, and also the one for improving informational channels, because your national portals can benefit from being a contributor in this project. But also it's supporting Choose. Well, we just have brainstorming, supporting Choose Europe initiative, in the way of we can do events of talent attraction, and definitely that will be something together with EURAXESS Worldwide for sure. But we can actually, your country, your institutions, regional, but of course we need the BHOs to organize these kind of activities, for the benefit of your own ecosystem. So then there will be also opportunities to participate here. There will be an infrastructure somehow to do this, but then obviously, if you want to organize an event, you need to be a contributor of this project. You can also will be able to do it later on, but then of course you will not be able to benefit from the project. Okay, and like I said, yeah, supporting functional activities like the newcomer sessions and so on. Maybe it needs also help to organize this and also this contribution. This, you can now from the beginning of the project to contribute to this. So who can apply? All VHOs. So no matter if you are already in a work package and with a task or contributor of a task. Many of you who are already structuring work packages know what's going to happen in your work package, but maybe you don't know the other activities. So yeah, you can also say, I want to be working with these guys. I want to be working with that. So yeah, please do not say because I'm already a potential beneficiary of a project, I cannot, I cannot use this hop on call because yes, you can. How? We're going to send you a form. So it's very easy. We have the activities that need to be, more contributors to strengthening. So then it's a prefix menu. As I said, there's no like, I have an idea. No, unfortunately, there was another time for expression of interest for that. So now it's like, okay, now this is prefix menu of tasks and subtasks with, you will read obviously the explanation of the contribution, and you will also have some details of what it means, to participate in this task or in this subtask. And if you need further details, please contact the work package leader. Okay, we will also give you the who is it or who is she, and then you can contact them for further information. But it needs to be done quick because we're going to open this on Thursday. Okay, so you all receive an email with all of this form where you will have all of this information, and then the deadline, it's just 1 week. Okay, we cannot open longer because we have also deadlines here. The structure is already, it's more or less already set up for the whole project, and we need to move further. But we thought that it would be very interesting for maybe some of you that maybe you didn't know, you didn't have time to think about how we're gonna, how can I participate in this project? But with this way, you can now have it a more clear way, like, okay, this is going on, and also you could see the benefit maybe for your network too, and for your own activity as a BHO. So yeah, we thought to take the opportunity, to strengthen a little bit the time of closing the consortium, so to be able to incorporate more, and also, like I said, not only for new ones, but also for the ones who are already participating in the project, but they now reading the tasks and subtasks in other work package leaders where they are not involved. So maybe they could, why not? I can also I can participate in other activities. So like I said, and I highlighted this deadline for submission, just 1 week, okay? And we will somehow be strict with this, otherwise we cannot close the consortium and finalize and continue with the next steps. So I think this is all from my side. If you have questions, I think we have 10 minutes now, Vera. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, we have 10 minutes. So if you have any question, just, please tell me. Otherwise, it means that I was very clear.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Mark from Denmark. I have one question.
Yeah.
My question is just to make sure to get it right. So we are inviting people to submit our wishes, right? And then just no. No. I'm just thinking we get a link, and then people, they can say, oh, I'm interested in this and this and that.
Exactly.
That's a yes, right? Yeah. So exactly. I think it's good for people to know, like if 60 people say, I would like to be part of project 1, that not all 60 can be part of it, right?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point to.
So we have wishes, but then who is deciding, like instead of those 60, there's only space for 2 or for 5? How does this work? That people just know what is possible.
Yeah, what is reality? Thanks, Mark. That's a very good point. I mean, it's not going to be a huge amount of tasks and subtasks. So, like I said, it's very prefixed. activities. So we are not expecting like many new. What we are expecting is probably cross the beneficiaries also to work. Of course, we know the efforts more or less already starting to grasp the idea of the effort that it means to contribute in the tasks and activities that we are proposing. So yeah, we need to be how to decide. That's a very
no, if I may, for me, it's pretty clear because this is going on a scale and I just keep on doing the same joke. We are all in about democracy and equal participation, but at some point we need to close things. And the way that this has worked, there has been an opportunity for people to make expressions of interest. Based on those expressions of interest, we are building the project structure. And this goes sort of in terms of responsibility. So yeah, we will get to a point where we have this structure of work packages, tasks, subtasks, gaps where we are welcoming or we are needing actually contributions, and people responsible for those tasks, people responsible for those work packages, and a coordinator responsible for everything. So if a decision needs to be taken, it will be done in that way. Because there's no other way around. It's not, obviously we don't want to leave people outside, but then we need to find compromises. That is how you build the project. So maybe if you, as a BHO, express interest in 2 tasks, and for some reason there is a better candidate, or it's decided that there's a better candidate due to geographical diversity, expertise, or whatever for a certain task, then that may put you in favor of then being part of the other task. There is, as I said, there is no way of doing this in an equilibrium way, but I think we've made a process where people have been proposing, levels of responsibilities and taking charge of this, and decisions will be taken in that order.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's nice, but I think it's important to tell people that they know that if they apply, maybe they don't get anything, or they get just 1 or just 2. And I think it's a great way of doing it because you have to cut down. It's not like 60 people can be in one task. So there needs to be somebody taking a decision. So it sounds like a good solution. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also as a general idea, that's something that we juggle with. We are aware that this is a project for an initiative. So we want to have as many people as possible on board. But again, while it's realistic.
Yeah.
I saw Therese, you had your hand up as well. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Therese from Sweden, for those who know me. So I actually already got a question if there will be, this is for the BHO applying, of course, but I got a question about if there will be an FSTP for your access centers, and have you decided anything on that? Is there anything we can kind of put forward on that?
Yeah, there's going to be an FSTP, okay, mainly for, like you said, your access centers and non-participants. I'm mostly beneficiaries of non-participants, but please, this is not the same because, of course, here, like Xavi was explaining, the decisions how to participate in one task or subtask will be taken, by the end, like if we see many people in one task, depending the efforts, or maybe we have to think about geographical diversity and so on. FSTP is very different. FSTP will be a project, that the participants, the potential participants will apply, and of course there will be competition. So the decision will be made according to certain criteria, not as we are doing this. And obviously not only BHOs will be able to participate in this FSTP, it's the whole EURAXESS centers. So, and it's actually, the idea is that they participate because it's a way to multiply all of these activities and model, in the network. Just to clarify the difference, it's totally different thing.
And do you have any timeline? Do you know if that will be, later this year, or will it be longer in?
Oh, it's not going to happen this year for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, because then we need to start. Well, there's a lot of procedures to open an FSTP within a project. We have learned that from this current project. So there's not going to be this year for sure. Most likely, I'm going to say first quarter of the 2027, but just to be on the safe side, just first part of the of 2027.
That's
Okay.
enough for now. Just then there's like a something to convey at least. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't see any more hands, but please go ahead. If anybody has a question, you can just go ahead and speak up. No. Okay, then I think, Elisa, that was all for the questions for
Okay,
today. So yes, I think your presentation explained it all very well. So if there is nothing else, I don't know, Slaven, do you have anything you would like to add towards the end of this meeting?
I just see still Anna Margarita's hand is raised.
Okay.
If it's for Anna Margarita, is it your question towards Elise, for
Yes,
Elise or
yes.
Javi or?
Yes. Hello. Good afternoon. I just would like to make sure that if you want to join the project in a hop on call, would it make sense to have? I'd like to have an overview of the activities of the project in order to define which ones could fit to our profile exactly.
Yes and no, Ana Margarita. I'm going to explain that. So we will provide you with the structure of the project, an overview.
Yes.
With the subs to subtasks, so you all understand the project before deciding to hop on. But that doesn't mean that all of the activities are gonna be open to hop on, because many of them they already have a lot of. I'm not gonna say a lot of, but just a reasonable amount and very well fit contributors. We already have good. But others, for example, you can hop on. So the ones that they're going to be open in the form. So there's going to be all for ideas, but the ones that the description and the expression, like if you want to contribute to that, will be in the form. So just to make clear that you will not be able to apply for any one that you want, but the ones that are really open, but yeah. So just to make that clear too. So not to clarify, to craft expectations.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Margarita, for the question as well. I don't think I have missed any other hands for now, and we are nearing the end of the meeting with a few moments left. Unless, again, Slaven, was there anything else on your side? No?
Nothing. We had to keep something for the next month as well.
Yes,
so
let's keep the excitement for the April version. And talking about the April version, that one will take place on the 9th of April. So traditionally, second Thursday of the month. So we will stick to that tradition. Up until then, of course, we will be sending you any updates we receive also in terms of the IT contract, anything that will be relevant before we meet you again in April. And as always, any questions you have, any ideas, suggestions, feel very free to send me an email. Thank you for the participation. We really appreciate that the participation is as active as it is. Every meeting we've had, almost everybody is in attendance. So we take that as a good sign that these are meetings that are very well needed and provides good information for everybody. So thank you, and we will see you next month. Bye.
See you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.